we've had two really productive days. I think we made some progress and made some improvement in our team. I'm anxious to see how we'll scrimmage this week. I think there's always a lot of room to improve from the first scrimmage to the second, just like from the first game to the second. And I think we've gotten some players in the right positions. I see them gaining confidence by the repetitions that they're getting, especially on defense. I feel really good about the way we're going on offense. Quarterbacks are playing well. We've got good skilled players all the way around, and they've done a really good job. I think that was evident in the tape of the scrimmage, which I didn't get a chance to visit with you since then. Did a nice job in the passing game, and I think that we've made some improvement, this week all the way around. I think we made improvement on offense and corrected some of the things that we needed to correct. And defensively, I feel like, we're starting to come together a little bit. Got some guys back in the spots they probably ought to be in. We've been toying around with the linebackers, and Darrell's back at Sam, and Dante's playing Mike, and Chris is playing Will, and then in nickel we switch them, and Dante plays where he used to play, and Chris plays where he used to play, and I think those guys are all a lot more confident in that. Damian Square is, coming along nicely and is playing some in nickel now, so that helps us a little bit. Marcel moves back inside. So, some of those things are starting to come together. I just hope that we can, stay healthy and continue to make progress by, these guys getting to be able to practice. Nico and Tanae, both did a pretty good job in the scrimmage. Both guys got a little dinged up. Nico has got a strained knee, which I think he'll be okay probably in a few days. Tanae got a concussion, which we thought would clear up, but they have very good technology in how they test those things, and he hasn't cleared up enough, and hopefully he'll be okay by Friday. Today's practice was probably a little bit run-oriented, a little bit more first down, regular down type stuff, and Friday we'll do a lot more longer yardage passing type stuff and that type of thing. So I'm really pleased with the progress that we made. Rod Woodson and Cinnamore were absent Monday. They both had, problems. They went home for Easter and had problems getting back, and they called, and they were together and had car trouble and couldn't get their car fixed, so they had problems getting back, but they're back at it and made up the things they needed to make up and all that kind of stuff. Questions?
Just wondering, have you been able to talk with Daquan Menzie since his injury last week?
What do you know about it?
That he had torn his Achilles.
That's what I know about it.
Okay.
What do you want me to talk about?
Okay. And just wondering, do you have any advice? Do you ever give the players advice as to?
Well, I think injuries are part of the game. You hate to see a guy get hurt playing another sport. I know how hard he's worked to have an opportunity to play here, and he'll still have an opportunity to play here, and I'm sure he'll work hard, to get back where he needs to be able to play. And, we'll make an assessment in the summertime as to how his rehab is going and where he is and whether he'll be able to start with us in the fall or whether it'll take a while longer. But we think he's a good player. We're glad he's coming to school here. I wish he wasn't playing basketball and got injured while he was playing basketball, but I'd rather see guys do things to stay in shape and work out and do what they're supposed to do. And, I play basketball. I guess I could get one too. So I'm not being critical. He's a good player. He could help us in an area where we have a lot of guys to replace, and hopefully he'll recover and, be able to get started with us in the fall. But, we're going to make those medical decisions with our medical people, and they'll decide when he's ready to do whatever he's able to do relative to his rehab, and we'll coach him and teach him and bring him along as soon as possible.
Coach, with the amount of skill players you have back on offense, what do you most want to see out of that group for the end of spring going into preseason to maybe build on what you were able to do last year?
Well, I think that they've done quite a bit. I think we've improved the passing game. I think we've improved some of the things that we're doing on offense. I think we're tie in some of the strengths that we had as an offensive team last year with other things that complement that, especially in the passing game. And it's really showing up in the passing efficiency, the lack of turnovers, still a good ability to run the ball, but much better balance. And we really threw the ball effectively, and we make a lot more explosive plays, not only in the scrimmage but every day in practice. And I'm pleased with the way those guys have all improved, the way they've worked, and the chemistry of that group has been very good. So we're pleased with the progress we're making, and we want every player to know that there's something that they can improve on and we can get better. And there's still some other concepts that we want to look at offensively, and to have positive energy and attitude about what we're doing, and everybody being responsible and accountable to do their job is what's going to help us improve as a team. I've really been impressed with the quarterbacks. Greg's had a really good spring, so has A.J. Really pleased with Phillip Sims, too, as a young guy coming along that has talent. So I'm pleased with some of the young offensive linemen and the progress that they've made. They're doing the things on offense that we want to get done, and I think it's going to be important that we continue to do that.
One other thing, kind of a little off topic, as a guy who has been through the NFL draft on the other end of this, how do you think teams are viewing Rolando's disclosure that he's been dealing with Crohn's disease the last couple of years?
I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody about it. Nobody's asked me about it. All I know is it's never affected his performance here. He manages it very well. He never missed practice because of it. He never missed a game because of it. I think he's very mature about it, and he does a good job of managing it. And anybody that would penalize him for that would be making a mistake, because it's never affected his performance. It's never affected his ability to perform, and he certainly was a fantastic performer, good enough to win the Butkus Award and be the best player at his position in the country. So, the way I always viewed those things is whatever the issue was, whether it was behavioral, medical, does it affect the guy's ability to perform? And if it doesn't, because he's always on the field and he's always doing a good job, then maybe we're overanalyzing all this.
Coach, people are saying that Trent Richardson and Mark Ingram are the best running back combo in the country. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, what people? I mean, who's the people? I mean, I don't know who's saying that. You say people, but I never heard anybody say it.
Students say that a lot.
Excuse me?
Students say that a lot.
Do I say it?
Students say that a lot.
Oh, students. So the students here are experts about all the running backs in the country. Okay, I just don't like those kind of questions. If you were going to ask me if I think those guys are two outstanding running backs and maybe the best pair of running backs in the country based on what they did last year and what they're capable of doing next year, I would say if they both performed to their capabilities, they would have a chance to be considered, for that sort of honor. But they both have the ability to do it. They both work hard. They both had good springs. And we're hopeful that they can stay healthy and have very productive years next year so that they could be considered, as that kind of dynamic duo, I'll call them.
One more thing. How do you think they opened up last year's season, like for the offense, the running backs?
I think the running backs did a good job all year. I think that, last year we started off slow on offense. If you remember the first half of the Virginia Tech game, there were probably many people that thought we'd never get a first down. We really couldn't complete a ball. We really couldn't run the ball, but we had a lot of new guys playing, a lot of young guys. We were rebuilding the offensive line. But we got better in the second half, and we got better each week as we went through the season. And we hit some bumps in the road, but I thought those guys probably were the salvation because their consistency was very important to the development of the offense, the confidence of the offense. I think those two guys' running ability and our ability to run the ball really gave our offensive line confidence. So I really do think that their performance contributed to the chemistry of the offensive team and the confidence of our whole team quite a bit because of the competitors they are, the kind of people they are, and the kind of leadership they show. by the example that they set.
Is there anything new on Robbie Green's status that you can tell us?
We'll make an announcement about that shortly.
Okay.
So we'll make an announcement about it shortly.
All right. Thanks.
Coach, could you just look ahead toward the second scrimmage a little bit, and what, if anything, different from the first scrimmage you're looking for?
Well, I'd just like to see a little more consistent performance, by some of the younger players that have slowly and gradually improved their knowledge and experience. And I'm hopeful that more and more players will go out there and play winning football. We'll expand probably what we did offensively and defensively. I think in the first scrimmage, the goal is let's try to do the things that we're sure that the players know how to execute, so we can evaluate them as football players who'll run out there and tackle and block people and do the fundamental things you need to do to be a good player. This scrimmage may be more about doing a little bit more systematically on both sides of the ball, and not protecting the players, but seeing who can actually go out and execute maybe when the multiples start to increase on them a little bit. So that'll probably one thing that will be interesting for us to see. Situationally, we didn't practice coming out the last time. We didn't practice 4-minute last time. So there's some other situations that we may practice, but I think overall, philosophically, that's what we'd like to see from our team and our players.